So he emptied her bag. She was going to school, a child going to school, emptied her bag on the chair in the car and took the picture. Guess what was inside? Rings, bangles,
Where did
earrings,
she get them from?
sunglasses. Sometimes courtesy of her grandma, sometimes courtesy of the ones that she made or the ones that she
At
bought
that age?
at that age. She was just a fashionista. She just
Wow.
liked, lip gloss. I forgot to mention those. Yeah, those
Wow.
were what was in her bag.
You don't have to sweep. If you are sweeping, you sweep. No. You have to sweep all the corners. Do it well.
Perfectly.
If you need to wash, you need to wash it well.
So at the table, if you're having breakfast or whatever, and then she hears your mouth going, yum, yum.
Wow.
My mom could
She
throw the
doesn't care.
teacup at you. I mean, it was that intense. Or
Which is good because I don't want to hear anybody chew.
you know,
You know?
and then you're walking and she's hearing your shoes go flip flop on the floor. Oh my goodness, those, and literally can still see the cane.
No judgment here, just a friendly ear. Tune in every day, bring your worries near. Life count show, let the heartbeats flow. With Fade, we heal and grow. Life on the couch with Fade. Talk it all out, set your mind free. Life on the couch, stories we share. Fade.
Hi everyone and welcome to another episode of Life Couch with Fady. And here we talk about things that happen to the everyday people with the hope that someone out there can relate with what we're discussing and will learn a thing or two. We always hope that we teach people that there is light at the end of every tunnel. There's hope. It doesn't matter what you're going through. And today, I have 3 generations of beautiful women. And we will be talking about is it parenthood we call it? Motherhood, the difference in generations and how we discipline, just stories generally. And today, I'm hoping that I get lots of stories for you. Something to learn, something to laugh about. And we'll say welcome to another episode again. Now, please, if you have not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, like, share, do something. Don't just watch and go. So, to start, I will allow these women introduce themselves. Now, I have 2 mothers here. We have a surprise later, but I will allow the mothers introduce themselves. Who wants to go first?
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I'm Olaide Abi. I am an accountant. I work as an income tax auditor currently.
Nice.
And I'm also one of the directors at Tribes Catering Inc., the
Yay.
conveners of popular Amala Day.
Yay. If you have not attended that one, you should.
You should, yes, you should. And I'm the only caterer in town with a CPA.
Hey, fancy that.
Fancy, yeah.
All
And
right.
of course, today I have with me my mom.
Welcome,
Yes.
mommy.
Thank you. My name is Mrs Florence Abode Fane. Got married to Gabriel Olufola Fane in the year 1975.
Wow. Were you
We-
born then? Okay.
I went to the School of Nursing, May 71. Finished, went to the School of Midwifery. I started work with the Lagos State. Then eventually I ended with the Nigerian Port Authority, spending 28 years there
Wow.
before thinking of relocating to England for
Wow.
greener pastures.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Relocated with my husband and my last baby.
Where were the other kids at the time?
The other kids were in Lagos with Laide.
Oh, okay.
Laide was taking care of the 2 boys and the little girl.
Oh, wow. Are you the first?
She's the first.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
So
Nice.
eventually, 2 of us relocated, my little girl and my husband. But all of them find their way. Olumide find his way as an architect. Then Olaide Siomi, who found his way last to Canada.
Wow.
To God be the
Nice.
glory. They are all doing well. We thank God
thank
for their
God.
life.
Wow.
Thank God for the way we brought them up in the way of the Lord. We impacted something in them, and we can see that they're on the right path.
We thank God. Those things are invaluable. I always tell people most of the things that we are when we're older are usually imparted in you from, scratch.
Right.
It's not something I'm not saying people don't change, but the values that you have usually are imparted in you from scratch. So I will be asking Mommy first. What was it like then? How did you envision marriage or even motherhood before you got married? And how did it turn out?
Before I got married, we had a discussion with my husband. How many children do you want to have?
Wow, at that time.
Yes, I said 4. If God permits 6. But eventually we had 4,
Okay.
which was all right. But it wasn't easy. In the husband's side, it was very tough.
Wow. Wow.
I think they don't like good things. My father-in-law was very good. He's a magistrate.
Wow.
Very nice man. Bava Fane. He likes me. He said, out of all the wives, I'm the only one that is educated, that brought my education to his house. And thereby, he praised God for that.
Wow.
But the other 2, oh my God. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It wasn't easy. I can't even know. They were fetish, you know. They go to the Catholic Church, but it's not, if not for God who was on my side and my parents, my father will cry, especially my mother. They tried. And I was able to bring these children out of that place. My husband initially was very angry, but eventually things worked out well. To pay school fees was very hard.
Wow. Wow.
Very, very tough. And I thank God for Olaide. I thank God that she was the first and she knew God first in the family. We all go to the Catholic Church,
Okay.
but she was the one who first of all came to the Christ. And through that part, she was able to pray and break through all things. If she sees anything that is bad in the family, she will pray. Gather her people together,
Okay, about
and
it.
thereby God broke through for us. That I'm thanking God for. Money is not everything. Money is not everything. I had a lot of up and down with my father's place, with my husband's place. But I thank God that at the end of the tunnel, I can see the light.
Right. Praise God. Yeah, money is not peace of mind.
Money is not everything. I thank God each time I look back. I praise God for her life. She has been a good head. She's very small amongst them. Even if you see the last one,
They're all big.
she's about 3 times your size.
Wow.
My last baby. You would think she's senior her. But the path she took, when I was in England, I said, like, you are of age now to get married. Who is your husband? Whom are you proposing to marry? She said, Mommy, I know the man. I said, I don't know. There are so many coming.
Which
There are
of
so
them?
many of them. Which of them? Then she brought this man. I said, I don't know him because each time they come to the house, he will be at the back. You won't know him. But I'm thanking God for their family. That God ordered her step to marry the man she married. And I'm thanking God for that marriage. all of us, we will praise God on our children's marriage. Because I'm thanking God for that marriage every day. The same thing with others.
Amen. Do you think that maybe it's upbringing that made her, how will I say that, kind of helped her make the right decisions?
Yes.
Do you? So how did you bring her up?
Initially, we go to Catholic church. But eventually, I had a very, very fatal accident that I had to become a believer, to join the Apostolic Church. The Apostolic Church is just, when you open my window, like, you see the church. So 5 a.m. we need to get up and pray. We pray, I will go to the church. I'm not forcing them to go to church with me at 5. But we will pray in the morning the little way I can. I don't know how to pray long prayers. But the Lord is helping us.
I see you smiling.
Then after the prayer, I will tell them to do their housework. Take broom and sweep. Whether you are a boy or they have to share it. Wash the plates. You know, water is not running freely. They have to fetch water, do all this, except the little one. But the other 3, we have house girls. I have about 2 house girls. But those house girls, they have their things to do too.
Chores. Yeah, that's important that everybody does.
Yeah, so she did not look at those house girls. They do their own call. That was what brought her to see the future and see what her mom has taught her. I'm from a village. When we want to do pounded yam or amala, you have to do it well. Even if you want to sweep, you need to do it well.
Where are you from, ma?
I'm from Isia, Kwara State.
Kwara, okay.
You don't have to sweep. If you are sweeping, you sweep. No. You have to sweep all the corners. Do it well.
Perfectly.
If you need to wash, you need to wash it well. If you need to wash your clothes, you need to wash it well. There was a case, she went to Shagamu. And the first holiday, she was coming back home, thinking that the house girls will wash her clothes for her. She came back late. I just say, open your box before you enter the room. She opened the box, all dirty clothes. I say, you are not going to sleep tonight. You will wash all those clothes before you go to bed. All the house girls said, Mommy, let us help her. I said, no. Did you wear it with her? She has to wash everything. And ever since, she has learned.
I'll take it to you now. What was growing up like, and was she strict? Was she? I see that expression. So tell us what growing up was like and how she was as a mom, how you were you stubborn? And then one major thing that happened that she really showed you, Pepe.
Okay, looking back now, I mean, I would say that I'll use the word strict.
Okay.
But growing up, I thought she was wicked. That was the word.
I know. I can relate.
Yeah. Being a first child was not that easy. I mean, every weight kind of was upon you and all that. So the expectations were so high, without saying anything. It was like you were expected to do certain things.
Yep.
So no matter how young I was, I learned responsibility from childhood. And the things that usually come to mind when I talk to friends about my mom, the way she taught us table manners. So at the table, if you're having breakfast or whatever, and then she hears your mouth going yum, yum.
Wow.
My mom could throw the teacup at you. I mean, it was that intense. Or
which is good, because I don't want to hear anybody chew.
You know. And then you're walking and she's hearing your shoes go flip-flop on the floor. Oh my goodness. And I literally can still see the cane. The ones that the masquerades use? Those masquerades in Nigeria that have
the normal cane.
No, it's not the normal cane.
Oh,
no, it's not the koboko. No.
Ah.
It's my dad that used to use koboko. It's those cane that had different mouths that, if you sit here and it's quite long, and she does like this, it will reach you a
Anywhere you are.
distance. And then she's hearing piap, 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 and the cane just goes, you will,
Without being told.
without being told, so I guess the fear of my mother's skin. And then, because I'm quite tall, to say the, not to say the opposite. If I'm going on the road with my mom and maybe her friends are coming or, elderly people, the way we grew up, it was a community that raised us. You were given birth to by two parents, but then you wear the responsibility of the whole community. So as you're coming from school or whatever, everybody in the area or in the neighborhood knew you. You're coming at the wrong time.
They're already scolding you from the streets.
You understand that kind of thing. So everybody's asking, why are you just coming home? So it's like somebody's already dealing with you before you get home, Anyway, when we're on the road and, maybe some persons are coming, I still remember an incident where I tried greeting. And I don't know where I borrowed it from, probably from school, probably from friends. You just genuflect, just kind of bend a little. And I remember my mom's hand sending me down on my knees. It was just a knock, but it got me, it got me on my knees,
And you knew right
and she
there.
say it in Yoruba that, so, it's ingrained. I cannot greet an elderly person without doing the right thing, going on my two knees. So she kind of instilled all of those things in us.
I have a similar story like that. That one, it was at the center of my back. I just heard, like you just castle, but for a second I was like, what
happened?
What did I,
What did I do?
Like I'm like,
What
oh
did
my
I
God.
do? So
I
when
don't know
I
how
remember,
these things just happened. It was the same thing across.
it's the
homes.
generation. It was the generation. That's how,
Yeah.
I guess that's how their own parents brought them up. And it was passed down, to us kind of. So I remember the knock. It's like the knock,
Reset.
it's still there. So it gets me to greet properly even today. So that's one thing that I learned from my mom.
What about your dad?
So my dad was
In
very
terms of
quiet.
discipline and all that.
My dad was
Okay.
very quiet. But, he was the kind of person that he would tell you, you offend the first time, it's a warning. You offend the second time, as a child. So he dealt with us as children. I thought that mommy kind of made us grow fast. Daddy allowed us be children. So, and then he would say, he would beat you with one finger. Then another time he would beat you with two. And another one, you beat you with the palm. But when it gets really bad, he had this one mouth koboko. That's a
I
hospital.
feel like those ones are worse. I'm not sure. Like
Because-
the one, because it's concentrating on one.
On one spot. So because he doesn't do anything so often,
The one time he does it.
that one time that he does it, but mommy doesn't give you room. It's like you have to know it now.
No.
It's like it's and she will go, your father cannot be quiet, and I will also be, no way. Both of us cannot be,
True.
that soft at the same time. So, and I'm thankful for the two of them, because while dad allowed us to be children and we did all the fun children things, mommy also kind of got us to know how life is, and you have to keep up. You have to be responsible. You have to know how to do certain things. You have to live up to expectations, and the list just goes on. So mommy was more like, you got to do your homework.
Yeah.
She really doesn't
So
care.
there
You
was a
get it
balance.
done. Daddy was the one that would stay up late with you to say, okay, you need to do your homework. Okay, let's get it done together. Mommy's one is that you have to get it done.
Okay, talking about that, how are you as a mother? Are you the one that will say get it done, or will you do it?
I think maybe my children will be able to tell better, but in my own opinion, I think I'm the get it done kind of person.
Okay.
Maybe, you got to get it done. If you need help, ask. If you need help,
Do you think you're that way because your mom was that way, or do you think it's your personality?
I would say both.
Okay.
I think my personality is like, even not just with my children. If you need to get things done, things done. If you need help, ask. If you don't need help, for me, just get it done.
And you're back. Okay. Would you say that you're a strict parent?
I think.
And what you think? You have to be sure. Are you? I was going to say, what things do you think you saw? Maybe when you were growing up, your mom did, you didn't like, but you now see yourself doing to your kids.
Oh, well, is it that I
Not
see
necessarily
myself?
wrong, but you know what I mean.
So I don't naturally beat my children like that.
No, we don't beat in Canada.
Well-
She's just saying she doesn't spank.
I don't spank. I don't spank the
Is that
way,
something
the
you
way
do?
our parents kind of spanked us. I can't remember if I spanked them. Maybe in Nigeria. Of course, they're kind of grown now. But there's a way that I look at them. You know the kind of look that our parents used to give us? That speaks volumes. I mean, we go to people's homes and there's a look on my mom's face.
And it means don't eat.
You get it. You dare eat
I
that
wonder if the
food.
kids nowadays, do you think
No,
they get it?
I think my children get it.
Okay.
I think my children get it. That there's that look that mommy gives. I think they get it. Well,
Okay.
I
We're going to
think so.
confirm soon.
I think so. If there's something that my mom did that I didn't like, and that
Maybe
I
just a
won't do,
general way of it, not necessarily wrong, but you didn't like it at the time. Of course, usually those things at the end, you now look back and say, thank God she did this. It has molded me to who I am today. But at the time you didn't like, or you might think, okay, maybe I'll do it differently, my own time. But you find yourself doing the same thing.
maybe about food. So I love to cook.
Obviously.
And I think and I think my mom kind of, or my parents kind of noticed it even as a child. So to the point that the toy sets that I had kitchen sets, and they would instruct the house help to, the what's it called, when you sieve yam flour, that shaft that we throw out, instruct the house help to leave it for me so that I can make amala. I'll get leaves from the compound to make my effort, whatever it was I was thinking in my head. We had some interesting red stones as children all around. I would grind that into pepper. I just used to do all sorts of things, and I loved that, and have imaginary friends to come eat the imaginary food that I've made. But to eat the food itself was a pain. So my mom would, have a cane and would sing for me.
And sing.
Yes.
Wow.
It was
Okay.
jam, kuto, jeba, kuto, jam. It was my norm.
Wow.
And my parents would say that except I hear a clanging sound of maybe a Coca-Cola bottle.
You
You
won't
know those
eat.
Coca-Cola bottles?
So
And
this
then maybe
is-
they want to give me Coke or Fanta or meat pie. Yes, or cake. I'm happy. But with real food, it was war.
Wow.
It was a pain. I just didn't like it. Why would you force me to eat?
I wish I don't like to eat right now. So you didn't like how she would force you to eat? So with your kids, if they didn't eat, you just leave them? Or
So I
how
don't
do you?
force them. Maybe I'd say differently. So apart from, trying to get me to eat and all that, there was a general rule in the house. So if mommy makes beans, everybody's eating beans.
Nobody's choosing what they're eating.
No, you're not.
That's another
There's
thing
no,
I see
no,
these days.
You're not choosing. Everybody's eating beans, no matter who you are. If it's amala that we're eating today, that's what it is. I just couldn't understand it. If I don't want to eat this, why, why do I have to? So with my children, I kind of allow them. When they were a lot younger, it was easy. Our children is sometimes it's just golden mom, and it had golden mom for the length of whatever time, and sometimes it's just Indomie noodles, and they had it for. These days, you choose what you want to eat, you make it yourself. It's okay. I mean, you're not bothering me. I make the necessaries, available and all that, and yeah, you can
And take care of yourself.
take care of yourself.
So, mommy, is there anything that you see in her parenting or that you would be like, I might have done this differently? Parenting style or how she relates or treats her children.
She does it in a much sophisticated way, to bring them together so that they won't go out of the family, That's what in the olden days, we don't have means, there's no much money. It's the little you have, you manage. So we don't have that type of, if you don't want conflicts, you have this. If you don't have that, if it is ogi, it's ogi, everybody is having.
Yes, so.
So, and these children, they know where to buy it. They can drive, they can go down, they can do all
Get
these
what they
things.
need.
So, I don't think there is anything that she is doing to her children that we too haven't done. Our own way of doing it may be different.
Okay. Just before mommy goes and we switch to, and we bring on our surprise. I just maybe we'll ask mommy, is there anything you have for young mothers out there, a message, something, just an advice for them?
The most important thing to be good wives, you need to be very close to your husband. Relate to them. You have to relate to yourself as one. Christ said, in the Bible said, therefore, a man will leave his house and cleave to his wife, and they shall be one. And that's what I want to see in my children, which I've seen in them. The boys, if I'm trying to phone them, I didn't get them, they tell me, Mommy, you have spoken to my wife. Why are you bothering me? It's what she says that I'm saying. I don't ask for anything from them. It's the wife that usually sends things to me. Like the ones in England, the wife is a GP, that one. Mommy, are you all right? Are you check your account. We have something for you. Things like that.
Nice.
When my birthday is coming, each of them, they will do their, and they will say it's from me. They say it's from all of us.
Wow. So something to note here. Wives, be close to your husbands.
Yes. You have to be close
Be
and
a
pray
unit.
together and be on the same page to train their children. It's not saying this to Shemilore today and that behind mommy is saying another thing. No. They have to be on the same page.
Yeah, with
so that
raising
those
kids.
children will know that in future I have to do exactly as my parents are.
Has said.
So when I came now, I said, what I'm doing here is what my husband sent me. He may not be here, but we are talking together.
And there's agreement on that. Mommy, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate your time and thank you for dropping gems that we can take away. Thank you so much. And now we'll bring on the surprise after the break. episode. And now we have the surprise. The third generation of the, am I going to say the Abels now? Because mommy is not Abels, right? Anyways, we understand what we're saying. And her name is Logo. Yay! So, we're going to start with you. Can you describe your mom to us?
Okay.
No. Before we do that, introduce yourself.
All right.
Tell us about you.
Okay. My name is Shemilo Guabe. I am 17 years old.
Nice.
I'm a high school student right now, and I'm going to university this year, September.
Yay! Are you excited?
Yes, but I'm very nervous.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm excited. I'm excited for some parts.
Okay.
Nervous for some parts because, I mean, as much work as I'm doing now, I know that it's just going to be more and more like, but it's
You'll
okay.
be fine.
I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
It's okay. But yeah, hopefully going to study nursing and then medicine
Yay!
after.
Just like mom or
Yeah,
grandma.
just like grandma. Yes. And yeah, I play rugby in school. I
Wow.
teach gymnastics.
I like that. You teach.
Yeah.
Let me
'Cause I
hire you. Please. Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, I also like to do art. I like working with my hands a lot. Anything
creative.
like fashion, beauty, I love it.
Oh, nice.
And I also enjoy baking. Just anything working with my hands.
What's
I
your
really enjoy
address?
doing
All
it.
these things that you do. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
But taking after mom in some things, taking after her grandma in some things. Nice. Okay.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much all about me. I can't really remember
Pretty
right
much.
now.
That's a lot.
But yeah,
That's a lot. That's good.
thank you.
So, describe your mom. What's the relationship between both of you?
Okay. I'd say like for me, during like my childhood, I mean, obviously I'm still a child, but like when I was much younger and I wasn't like a teenager, I feel like I saw my mom very differently than I do now.
Okay.
So like when I was a child, like not even like when I was just in Nigeria, like even here, I saw my mom as just very strict and very like rigid. Her and my dad, I just felt like they provided some sort of rigid structure. And obviously, like in comparison to other people, like her experience, I know that it's nothing. But for me as a child, I just feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. Like for example, like see these acrylics I have on now. I couldn't wear nail polish until I was like 14. And I remember when I was
Did you, at what age did you try? 8?
when I tried that, I got in trouble. But I
Tell
remember,
us that story.
yeah. So this was when we first moved to Canada,
Okay.
and I had a friend in grade 4, and it was my birthday, so she got me this one blue nail polish. Then I already knew my parents were going to be angry, but I was like, let me just try, because I'm already 10 years old. Like I should be able to wear nail
Big
polish.
girl.
All my I was 9 even, so you remember. And I was like, I should be able to wear nail polish. You know, all my friends are doing it. And I brought it home, and the way my parents were shouting at me, they said I should go and give her back. I was like, you guys are not serious. And I gave her back, and she was stunned. But honestly, like looking back, I feel like I was really just excited to like, you know, do all those things, like to grow up. And especially because I was that kind of child that was into fashion, beauty, everything. Like I really wanted to do all those things, like makeup, nail polish, hair, everything.
So I remember, when we were in Nigeria, I think she was about, to me, I think she was about 2 or 3 years. I can't remember. We start school in Nigeria quite early. And then I had gone to work. The dad was taking her to school. So he just sent me a picture and, saw the pictures. Guess what was? So he emptied her bag. She was going to school. A child going to school. Emptied her bag on the chair in the car and took the picture. Guess what was inside? Rings, bangles, earrings.
Where did she get them from?
Sunglasses. Sometimes courtesy of her grandma. Sometimes courtesy of the ones that she made or the ones that she bought.
that age?
At that age, she was just a fashionista. She just liked, lip gloss. I forgot to mention those. Yeah, those were what was in her bag.
Do you remember the one time that we were driving to church, and then I shouted, "Stop the car! I forgot my lip gloss at home."
She forgot her lip gloss. She was going to go back home.
And did you guys go back home?
Like, seriously? Seriously, go back home to get what? Lip gloss, of all things. I mean, she was that conscious about herself.
At such
My
an early
daughter,
age.
when she started talking, she'll wake up in the morning. First thing is, I want to have my bath. I want to have and then I'm like, what? She was so finicky about everything. She wants to sleep. My shoes, my shoes, my shoes.
Like
And
she
she
didn't want
can't,
to have
she
them
doesn't,
on
want, no, she doesn't want to step on the
shoes.
floor with
Oh, with
without
bare feet.
bare feet. And then
Oh.
if she getting on the bed as well, she had to wear her shoes. So we had to buy sleep shoes.
In Nigeria.
Yes, in Nigeria.
Wow. When's your birthday?
November.
We had to buy sleep shoes. She was like that. So she's very finicky.
And she's still that way.
Oh yeah. Just a refined a refined one.
Very refined one.
Very finicky. She wants to look good. So I can imagine somebody going to school. I mean, she have book, except have pencil, crayon. She had none. She had none of that in her bag. All she had was jewelry.
At that age, did I even know what a ring was when I was in grade 2 or whatever? I don't know.
Also,
what
grandma indulged her in the things that she will not take from me.
she'll get from grandma, and that's the difference. When
Oh, yeah.
and I'm sure grandma probably did not allow you do those
No.
things, but with her,
Me, I wasn't even like that. So
me, I'm looking forward to now that I know this about you, like from your womb, from the womb. I'm looking forward to you doing something fashion-wise, by God's grace.
Amen.
We're looking out for you
Thank you.
and rooting for you.
thank you.
All right then.
So one more question for you. What is that one thing you wanted to tell your mom but you've not been able to tell her? Is there anything like that? Nothing. You've expressed everything.
Because I can't think of it on the spot. Usually it comes in the moment when I'm just but I can't really think of anything right now. I don't know.
It could be good. It could be gratitude. It could be anything, right? Even though you said some things, you said a few things. Well,
I mean, I feel like there isn't really much I haven't said. Anything that comes to mind, like one good thing, I see how she handles situations, like many different kinds of situations, whether it's tribes or whether it's family or friends, people, like any kind of trouble that arises, how she handles it is very like, she's not the type of person to talk behind a person's back. She's like, you have a problem with this person, go and talk to them directly. And I've been definitely trying to implement that, and I've been telling my friends, like, people are trying to, there's at my age there's always gossip, right? And it's not easy to avoid it. So instead of even avoiding it, I'm just like, okay, if you must tell me, why don't you like actually try and solve this thing with this person, you know? So I've learned that from my mom for sure, 100%.
which is good. Which
And,
is good.
yeah.
That's a good thing to imbibe. Were you at the? Was she at Doyin's
Mask?
dad's birthday?
Yes,
Oh,
both of
okay.
them were there.
Oh, okay. I don't think I didn't know them then. So
Oh, both of them.
okay. So they're helping, supporting part of the
Yes.
business.
Yes.
Do you plan to? You said you like to bake.
Yeah, sometimes.
Do you want to own something later in future, or later in life, like mom?
I would like to own something, but the only thing I've ever thought about owning is not really in the baking business. Like, I feel like baking for
Fashion.
me is more of like just a hobby
Hobby.
I like to do when I'm free. Like, there's this idea I've been having, like, I don't know. Okay, should I just be free?
Just
Okay.
be free.
Like
Like,
he will arrange everything.
like if there's any kind of business I would have it, definitely in the beauty industry. So like my idea is just something like I would call it Dee's Beauty Boutique, because like my name's Deb, right? Like my
Okay.
English name.
I was gonna say where's the
But
D from?
so
Okay.
like the idea is just like it's a one-stop shop for all beauty needs. So
Nice.
you want to get your hair done, come and buy your hair there. Come and get your hair done there. Get your makeup done, get your lashes, nails, everything, beauty, like anything, like literally anything, A to Z. That's just the idea of it.
Nice.
And it'd be like a huge like store or whatever. I don't know. Like
And it will come to
Yeah.
pass. Amen.
One thing, she taught us to love. Yeah. As a child, as a baby, when she started talking, she just latches onto my whatever and say, Mommy, I love you.
Aww.
And, I really love you. So if there was anyone that I felt she was my compensation, because my first child really loved my husband. And she just would not, she wasn't backing down in showing it. I mean, I'll come back from work and she used to suck her fingers. She looks back at the door, sees that it's me, and then faces the TV back. But if it's her dad, she goes, "Hey, daddy, daddy," that kind of a thing. So when she came and would always cling to me and tell me, "Mommy, I love you," I felt, God, this is compensation. So
Is she still like that?
yes. So as it's just that it's just a bit different. It's not like the child way. My first child would always defend her dad. Then this one,
On your
I
side.
defend her.
When I was 7 years old, I think, like, I literally sewed a jumpsuit for one of my dolls. And I remember I even showed my mom. But for some reason, I can only remember her just doing like, "Oh, that's very nice." Like, she was just like very...
No excitement,
no
nothing.
excitement. Like, she was so rigid all the time. Like,
Wow.
I just remember seeing, I looked up to her, but in the sense that she was just this like big, strong, emotionless woman. Like, almost like,
Wow.
I just never saw her as, it's going to sound extreme, but I didn't really see her as like a person. But when I started
As a what?
growing up, as a person,
Oh, okay.
like, it sounds extreme, but I didn't really see the emotion in my parents until I remember the first time I saw my mom cry. That was when I was
Wow.
like, that's possible. Is that is that is that possible for a mom to cry? Like, I was so stunned that, because crying, it was just like, whenever you're crying, it's like, "Oh, why are you crying? Let me give you a reason to actually cry." Those types of things. And then I saw my mom crying. I'm just like, like, she can do this. But I mean, people see crying, those things, as weaknesses, but I just saw it as like something that I could relate to my mom with, in a sense. But it made me see her as more of a person. Let me see. And that was just the beginning, because now, like, I truly see my parents as just people. Like, they're huge role models for me, obviously, but I see some of their flaws, for sure. I see their flaws, and I see their strengths, like, very, like, under a magnifying glass. Like, my mom, I don't know how she does it, but I always tell her I admire her strength so much now. Like, her tribe's catering work, it's a tremendous amount of work. Like, it's insane how much she puts into it. She's had like countless sleepless nights in a row,
Wow.
and she still keeps going. And I'm just like,
Catering.
"Me, mommy, I'm going to sleep. I'm leaving. I'm leaving you here. I don't know how you're doing it." And not even just the physical strength, the emotional strength to keep doing all those things. The things that I've seen that she's been through, and she still keeps, like, pushing and trudging on. And she's able to balance so many things all at once. And I just can't wrap my head around how she does it. She's always in one meeting and the other, in front of the, one meeting after the other, all at the same time sometimes. Like, she's engaged in a
Very
lot of
busy.
things. She's very
Wow.
busy.
Wow.
But I truly admire my mom for that, right? Like, right now, I really see how she does it. But, as a child, I just thought she was just one big woman. She was just there. But now I really see her as like a person, and I see like all the aspects of her. And I just like, I've learned so much from my parents, the way they handle so many problems, so many situations. Like, I've truly learned from them, and I'm really glad that I have them as parents. Like, I see a lot of my friends. I pray for them, but I really thank God for the parents that I
That
have.
you
Like,
have
actually,
now.
they're
So you
amazing.
having your perception changing, is it because you have matured, or is it that they have changed?
Oh, that's a good question.
What do
I
you
want to
think?
say it's actually a bit of both. Like, I've matured a lot. Like, coming here definitely helped me mature a lot. But I also,
You mean moving to Canada?
moving to Canada,
Okay.
yes, moving to Canada. But I also want to, I don't know, I feel like my parents changed a little bit. Like, they definitely became softer as Laura and I grew up, like my sister. Maybe because we became more mature or something like that.
You're
Like,
older now.
we're older now. But like, they definitely changed in a lot of aspects. I would have never expected my mom to let me like go out for how long at certain days, or like stampede. I was so surprised when you let me stay till fireworks. But I don't know. Yeah, they've definitely changed in some aspects. But I'd say I've also matured. Yeah.
Okay, and I was gonna ask when mommy was here that at what point, because for me as the first girl, my mom was wicked, and then she became my friend. You know that switch. I was going to ask. So for you, how did that switch happen between you and your mom? And then I'll ask how you would respond to everything that she said. Okay.
So, with my mom, I think the switch happened as I matured as well. I kind of started understanding why she was the way she was. And I started excusing certain things also. That there's no way she hates me. It just must be out of a place of love that she did all that. I'll give you an example. You dare not wear trousers in my house. That was my mom. And that was,
it because of religion or
I think it was passed down from her dad.
culture?
Because I lived with her dad at some point as well.
Okay.
And you dare not wear trousers. My grandpa believed that you must be a whore to wear trousers. You know, so things like that. And I just couldn't understand it, you know. But then I think she also got a switch when she relocated to England. And then the first set of stuff she was going to send down, I saw different parts. And I'm like, oh my goodness. You know. So I kind of, you know, grew also to understand certain things and, you know, societal values, family traditions, culture, all of those impacted the way that we were brought up.
Sure.
And so I had to excuse all of those things. And my mom became my friend, you know. She became my confidant. I became her confidant. Before then, just like she shared, I was the first person to give my life to Christ, you know, in the family. And she was my number one prayer point. Because I just felt, yeah, Iburu. You know. And I remember writing her a letter from school.
Was that secondary school?
Yes, it was my secondary school. It was my first year, actually. I
Like
remember.
GS1?
Yes.
Okay.
I remember writing her a letter. I had different colors of pens, you know, just wrote it. It was a beautiful letter, in my opinion. And I got home, and my mom said, "What's if we need ya me in school?" Meaning, we've given you another mother. Oh my goodness, she beat.
Why?
Because she just felt you had the effrontery to preach to me.
Oh, the letter was to preach.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
It was to tell her that, you know, you need to give your life
That's
to Christ, you know, that kind of a thing. You have the effrontery. They've given you another mother,
Yeah.
you know. And interestingly, I think I did something else over the holidays. And as my mom was spanking, my grandma was spanking. As my mom, you know, that kind of, that's the way their generation dealt with issues and all of that. Fast forward, of course, she eventually gave her life to Christ. And of course, today, my Proco partner, my gist partner, you know, I can tell her things. She talks to me, and we pray together, things like that. So, yes, I would say that life happened. I grew. I became more matured. Things changed also along the line. So it's a mixture of all sorts, right?
So, responding to the things that she said when she was younger, she thought you were emotionless. Did you know?
That I was emotionless.
Was it something deliberate, or it was just how you were?
I don't think I even had a clue that was how I was being described.
Wow.
Because when it comes to emotions, so one thing I know about myself, when you look at me, you may not be able to tell how I am. I don't know how to explain that properly, but maybe I got that from my father and probably his family, that side of the family. They can be that expressionless. So you may not be able to tell what I'm thinking. You may not be able to tell if I'm happy. You may not be able, you know, over time maybe I've changed, I think. So I don't know, maybe that's what they saw, and I was just, you know, one way.
Is this the first time you're hearing that?
From her, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The only experience that I remember, so we had a pastor friend who, you know, who usually comes to the house when we're in Nigeria every now and again. And on one occasion when he came visiting, of course we had gone to work. When we came back, he called my husband and I and said, you will be careful, though. My children were probably just 2 and 3. Probably, yeah. I don't even think.
Are they 1 year apart?
1 year, 5 months.
Okay.
So maybe one was 3 and the other was 2, or maybe 4 and 3. I can't remember, but they were that young. And he said they sat, in front of the house on the pavement, and they were gisting, talking to themselves, and all of a sudden somebody said, Daddy and Mommy, those ones, the only thing that they know how to do is walk, 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 walk.
At that age? Wow.
So I think he was trying to tell us that, you guys, you got to be careful. Maybe spend more time with these children, that what they see you, what they
Yeah.
say about you is, and that was the expression, walk, 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 walk. That was quite funny. And I really can't forget it,
Yeah.
and maybe that
Maybe that's what they saw at the time.
at the time, yeah.
Okay. So you don't even know that you have changed or anything. You're still yourself.
Well, now I know that I've kind of
Relaxed a little bit.
soft pedaled on quite a number of things. And maybe my creed was that what the Word of God says, that, train a child in the way that he should go. When he's old, he will not depart from it. For me, I wasn't going to wait till I thought they understood, because I knew that they understood. How do I know that? When they were in my womb, I spoke to them, and they were obeying.
Wow.
Yes. My first child, I think when was at night, and everybody was trying to sleep, and then she was doing some gymnastics and tumbling and, going all over the place. I said, hey, I even thought it was a boy. So I said, hey, boy, night is meant for sleep. We don't make noise or, do gymnastics or play at night. We all sleep. So please, can you sleep? And, that was one occasion I spoke to them. And they used to sleep
Wow.
to the point that when they came out, my children never gave me sleepless nights.
Wow.
Not one day.
That's
They
grace.
always slept
They
at
always
night.
slept.
So
Wow.
I felt that if I spoke to them in the womb and they understood,
How
then
much
as
more?
children, now that they're alive and here, they would understand. So for me, it was catch them young. You have to tell them what they needed to do. No emotions, and there's no excuse. You got to do what you got to do. Even if I'm not spanking you, I'm not, I don't remember having horsewhip in my house. I don't remember having all of those canes in the house. If I did spank them, maybe they can remember, I don't know. Maybe I give
Did mommy
them,
spank you?
maybe I give them some some lashes or whatever on their butts. I don't know, but not
But no
that, not as
canes.
intense
As
as
it
our
was for
parents,
us.
did give us. So
I'll just tell one small story. Yeah. I think my mom had just bought, these table mats, those days, beautiful. To have picture of food on it like this. And they usually tell us when they're leaving, don't bring anybody into the house. Come. Once they left, there's this neighbor, my friends, I will let them come, kids as well. We just played. One of them, I don't know who played with blade, cut
no.
I didn't even know. That's how my mom came back from work. And the first thing she saw was that thing. The beating she gave me. I was the person closest to her, unfortunately for me. She didn't even ask questions. The beating. My neighbor heard the way I was screaming. And she was like, "Faye, what did you do?" I told her. She was like, "It's a lie. You must have done something." Just to tell you. And the question now is, would you say that that style was effective? Because your kids are here. You never used those things. And they're still good kids. Do you think that style was effective? It did what you had to do, because some of us, we are reset, we're responsible, but I think sometimes it makes you timid too as well. There's so many pros and their cons as well. But what do you think?
I think that both styles, just like you said, have their pros and their cons. And so I would say draw the pros from the two and merge
from the two
together to make
styles.
from the two styles and make it, something quite robust. And the reason I say that is because when we're growing up, you dare not talk back at your parents. That's rude. No, you don't. And so with my children, even though I don't spank, when they're trying to talk back, I tell them, keep quiet. I'm talking. And I tell them, I'm your mother. And then I name their friends. I am not Shike. I am not Angel. I am not, I call them the names of their friends that you have to get it into your head.
There's
The
a
fact that I'm
difference.
friendly with you, or that you can relate with me, or you can have conversations with me, does not mean that I'm no, don't
Not your
talk back.
friend.
Keep quiet. And then one of them keeps going, no, mommy. I'm like, you got to shut up right now. As in now.
Before we do anything
you
again.
know, like, so somehow it feels like our parents' styles, we had more respect too. No, I think we did. And decorum, I think we did. Were they perfect? I mean, our parents, no. Are we perfect?
Not.
No. But there are just certain things. So I would say that the generation of our children need to learn certain things as well. Somehow, of course, because we find ourselves in this part of the world where culture differs.
Yeah.
So what respect means to us as Nigerians,
It's different.
I would even say as Yorubas, is
Because
different.
Yorubas, yeah.
You know?
From Igbo.
Exactly. Culture with Yoruba is a big thing.
It's huge.
Respect in Yoruba land is huge. You cannot come in as a girl and just greet like this. Why are you greeting like that? You got to kneel down. Is on the on your two knees. As a guy, you got to prostrate. That kind of a thing. I love it. I love that part. I think respect is good.
Yeah.
And
I think so too.
Yeah. On this side of the world also, I've met people who, yes, they may not be kneeling down or prostrating because it's not part of their culture, but they hold respect,
That respect is huge.
in high regard as well.
Yep.
So I wouldn't fault any of the two styles like that. I would just say that borrow the pros from both, merge them together to become something more,
What works for you?
more robust.
So we'll go back to logo. What is that thing? One thing that your mom did that you're like, this woman. Oh.
Okay. Well, to pick off of what she just said, and she was talking about how she didn't really spank us much. It was more talking to us, saying things like, "Oh, when I'm talking, you don't talk back." And I feel like even till now, those things hurt way more. Like, I vaguely remember times of my parents spanking me, but every time they're telling me, "Oh, I can't talk back." I just can't understand it because it's like I have something to say. What do you mean I can't say it? But the most painful thing, I don't know, I remember times where, even I feel like the most things I remember are in Canada, not even Nigeria, which is kind of funny. I remember one time when we're still in the apartment, I did something. I don't even remember what I did. I don't even remember. But my mom made me stool down in front of visitors. That was the most humbling
Is it the
experience as a
student
child.
down or the fact that visitors were there?
It was the fact that visitors were there. I mean, stooling down was the worst punishment. I hated it. But that wasn't even the worst. Not even, I even remember one time that I was supposed to be fasting. My parents were teaching me how to fast. And I really liked food. So, and then I remember my dad did something to me. And I was so angry. So I was like, you know what? I'm not fasting again. And I was now about to make my breakfast. I carried eggs. Before I could even crack it, my dad took it from me and both of them started beating me. Sorry, spanking. Spanking. But that wasn't even the worst. It's not even the spanking, those punishments. I feel like the absolute, the most painful thing that my mom did to me was on my 16th birthday. So, recently, not that recently, but on my 16th birthday, so my dad, he had gotten home from work. He flies in, flies out for work. And he said that he wanted to go out for a dinner. So I was like, okay, I'm sure, whatever. Normally after school, my sister and I, we don't come home immediately. And this was a regular thing. So sometimes we would just stay at school. Most times we just stay at school if we're just talking with friends or doing whatever. Sometimes we would even go to McDonald's or something. So on my birthday, I was like, oh my gosh, okay, let me just go out with my friends. So I just went out to McDonald's for a little bit. Then my dad starts calling my sister. He called my sister first. he was calling my sister, and then she saw there were like, I think 2 missed calls, and then she just knew there was trouble. And I knew there was trouble. And I was just like, there's just no way. My dad was calling, saying that, where you guys, you should come home. Da, da, da. And he was already shouting at my sister over the phone. And as I was there, I was really telling my sister, telling my friends, there's no way they're going to ruin this day for me. Because I had such a good day at school. It was amazing. So as I, like, you know when you can just feel that there's trouble, my heart was
waiting for you.
racing. And it was on my birthday too. That was what just pained me. So I got home. At first, I was like, okay, maybe it's not going to be bad. My dad was a little quiet, and then he now starts shouting, like, he was progressively shouting, because he was definitely angry. So I was just like, okay.
And he had told you already you guys would be going.
That we'd be going to a dinner, right?
Okay.
So on my part, I was like, okay, it's 5 p.m. I know we're going for a dinner, but we didn't solidify a time. And it's not like I wasn't planning to come home. I was just like, you could have just told me, oh, please, when are you going to come home? Because it was my birthday. In my mind, I was just like, save the shouting for another day. But they started yelling at me and saying all sorts of things. And that was the most painful thing. And my mom, in my mind, I think of her as like, what's it called? A defender for my dad. So even if on a regular day she wouldn't have been mad about something like that, because my dad was angry, she was angry too. So
I tell you, my mom was like that too. So it's
like,
normal.
I was just like, you wouldn't have cared on a different day, but I was like, okay. But that really, really pained me for days. Like I barely spoke to my parents for days after that. Because I was truly, truly hurt. Because I was just like,
it's
no
my
matter
birthday.
what I did was not that bad. Like, you could have just saved the shouting for the next day. I felt like, okay, just call me, say, please, Logo, come home. Aren't we supposed to go for our dinner? And it was only 5 p.m. Dinners are usually 6, 7. But anyways, obviously I'm over it now, but that was...
But it was so painful. So, mommy, what do you have to say to that one?
Thank you. So we have a family tradition.
Okay.
And on their 16th birthday, the dad said, he had planned, and it's something that had been passed on to them, that I'll be your first date.
Okay.
So that was the idea.
Oh, okay.
So he did that with the older sister. And then for her, it was already planned. Now, it's your birthday. On a good day, now we have quite a number of family here. When it's anybody's birthday, people come to the house. And she had made all the noise. Nobody should come, you know, that kind of thing. And we're like, okay, at least you would have your dinner with your dad, right? She left school. We had no idea where they were. What was painful was they didn't pick the calls. So we called, and I'll tell you one thing. Our minds were in all manners of places.
I know.
Where could they be? It's her birthday. We called the first, we called the second. Where, our minds were all over the place. We just couldn't understand. So where could this children... We thought about the worst. Where could they be?
That they're not picking.
And they're not picking. It's different if they picked and said, oh, dad or mom were at McDonald's. But they did not pick. So just imagine that.
I know.
And then, we're like already panicking. Should we panic? Should we go to school? Should we call the school? Where could they be? Eventually, my daughters show up. So where have you been? We're at McDonald's. Of course, that got us livid. That must be a joke. And you didn't pick? So, maybe it felt like a defense for their dad, but I was very upset.
Mad as well.
And at least you were somewhere. If you had picked to let us know. And of course, I explained that later, though she was very upset, that I got upset on her birthday. She didn't like it. I felt bad afterwards.
You had that conversation
after?
after?
We did, afterwards. I felt bad, but at that point, I was just expressing myself that, do you know what I had thought about? Do you know where my mind was? I couldn't even fathom what could have happened. I thought about the worst without mentioning. I thought about the worst case scenario. What could have happened? Two girls.
I know at the same time. God forbid.
So yeah, I apologized afterwards that I didn't mean to ruin your day, but
Hey, I'm going to compare that to if it was you and your mom,
oh no,
would
my
she
mother,
have
no,
apologized?
no way, no way, no way. You would apologize. You would be the one to apologize. No, no, no way.
Birthday or no birthday, if Ken come out,
That's it. Oh,
you're
birthday.
chopping your
Birthday is
cane.
just another day. As far as birthday is just another day, and
Yeah.
you mess up on your birthday, then you get the spanking for it.
And that's the
you know.
difference between, and I think there's value in, having a conversation, helping them understand. And I'm sure by now you know what, or maybe even if you don't know yet, with time you will know when what it looks like when you're on that side. Where were you? We don't know. We're already thinking. Why are they not picking? So I like that your relationship has evolved from them being, and then to you being more friendly and things like that. That's natural. When you know that they're getting mature, you become their friend, so they confide in you. All right. So we'll be rounding up right now. One word from you, Logo. Something you want to tell your mates out there. How, just advising them with understanding their parents. Like sometimes it's not, and sometimes parents go through a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Maybe there's financial pressure. There's what we go through at work. Sometimes kids don't know, things like that. But now I know you know more, and she probably, I don't know. I guess now you have discussions. What would you advise teenagers out there how to relate and understand their parents?
Well, I'd say it relates a lot to something my mom mentioned.
Okay.
Just like, what's it called? Kind of excusing some of their behaviors because you know how they were brought up. So, like, for example, with my mom, she tells stories of how my grandma brought her up versus how she brings us up. And to me, these things sound so extreme. So I'm just like, you know what? I can kind of see why you do this and you do that, why you think this way. Same thing with my dad, for sure. So I feel like to kids my age, just really put yourself in their shoes and try and empathize with them. And although that can be difficult because it feels like it's almost one-sided, just sometimes you just have to let things go as well. But I don't know, like sometimes you just have to let things go and don't hold grudges. I know that I'm not the type of person to hold grudges. I mean, except for my 16th birthday. But I've never been able to hold grudges like that. But holding grudges is probably one of the worst things you can do in any relationship.
Yeah.
So if there's forgiveness, that's like if any forgiveness is able to happen, let it happen. Just don't hold grudges and just really try to empathize with your parents, even though it seems difficult.
Something I just want to add is when you know that your parents love you, whatever they're doing is from a place of love. You may not see it or understand it at that time, but know that they love you. And mommy, what word did you have for our generation?
Okay.
How should they deal with these teenagers?
I would say that one, allow God to lead, allow God to help, because just like you said, we go through a lot. You're busy dealing with either pressures at work, pressures in the business. It could be financial issues. It could even be relational. It could be something that has to do with your spouse. It could be with in-laws. Anything at all. Allow God to help. And then two, be an open book with your children. Don't try to pretend that all is well.
Be vulnerable.
Be vulnerable.
So
that they can learn about life through you.
Yep.
Be the first point of contact so that they can see how life truly is. If you pretend that all is well, they will take it that all is well.
Yeah. Or that you're perfect.
Or that you're perfect. They would look at it that you're actually perfect. And peradventure, one flaw then shows up they can't understand.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you relate with them, just like she said, that at some point they started seeing us as human beings. Before, maybe we're just some super, humans or some super duper something. I believe that had to do with age, though.
Yeah.
Be an open book. Relate with them. Be ready to share. Don't put yourself out there as the perfect mom or the perfect dad. when you fall, be vulnerable enough to let the children know that, look, it's happened and this is how I'm correcting it. Or life has happened. And, I remember when I was writing my professional exams here, and that was, it got to a point where I just felt, I'm done, because I failed like how many times? Just one level, the final level, and I just didn't. And my children, they were bold enough to talk to me because they had seen me that vulnerable with them. I remember one of them writing to me and, literally writing scriptures. So I just felt like, okay, yeah. I just felt like, preacher, preach to yourself. That's what it was like. But they encouraged me. They were able to talk to me. And when I told them I didn't want anybody to talk to me about it anymore, everybody keep quiet, they respected it. But I believe they were praying for me. And when I eventually passed, oh my goodness, they were my best cheerleaders. They were super, 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 super happy about it. So I'd say that be an open book.
That is such a good advice. A lot of people don't know, but I think it's really important to be at their level, especially when they're more mature. Maybe not when they were kids, but now that they're mature, be at their level when you should be. There's boundaries, and things like that. So thank you so much for joining me on Life Couch with AD. It's just been a beautiful conversation. Thank you, Logo. Hopefully, we'll bring you back, you and your sister, for something, because I feel like that duo will be very interesting.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. All right, we have come to the end of this episode, and I hope you have picked one thing or two. I hope you are able to relate with something or the other. And at this point, we say until next time on Life Couch with AD. Like, comment, subscribe. See you later.